Our homestead had zero infrastructure when we first arrived, but by the end of this episode, we'll show you how we installed an incredible underground irrigation system with the help of our talented excavator from the top all the way down to the bottom of our hilly land. So let's connect the water line and see if our whole system works as planned. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new around here, we're Brittany and Drew, two hopeful adventurers who got married and after 8 years of van life, found our dream property and moved across the globe to Portugal, where we're now documenting the journey of transforming this historic watermill into our very first home, not on wheels. Now, let's take in a deep breath and let it out. Let the adventure begin.
Alright, it's a chilly afternoon out here. You can see the sun is starting to go down, but that doesn't mean that Nelson doesn't have a lot of time left to be making a grand canal behind us here below the Grand Terrace. What we need is to bury the line that will go and carry water up from our well here up to those tubes up top. And in order to get it buried, we had to pick the most direct line. So right behind me here, Nelson's going to be actually digging from above, adjacent where the tube is up here. I don't know if you can see it, a canal, and then he's going to come back in here from the bottom side and make a little path so he can get up to it and cut in the ground so that we can hide that tube from the elements, from the sun baking it hot during the summer, from eroding the plastic of the tube, and also if there is to ever be a fire, the tube won't be affected and melt. And not only are we going to do one tube, we're going to do two. One that'll carry the water up and carry it down. That way we can fill the tanks at the same time that we're using. So it's multifaceted, a bit complex, but this is one of the things I thought we'd wait till spring for, but we're getting to it right now.
When working with Nelson, it's important that we have our list of projects ready so we can maximize his time and the effort that it takes to get his machine to our land, which is exactly why our springtime project was happening now.
Nelson's working double time tonight. I know it's a little dark out here in the camera right now, guys, but this trench is just as big as what we made for the electrical cable. And right now, because it is the winter months approaching, the soil's quite damp and it's quite easy to cut into. And I would say he's nearly up all the terraces to our road right now. It is not an easy task, and there's just times that he's just like, seems like gonna just flip backwards on his excavator, but he knows how to position it right, dig in one of the claws, use the bucket up front to pull himself and like inch forward like a crab. It's really cool to see. There's his music. Perfecto. Excavator dormir.
Amazing. Wow.
Good morning, good morning.
Buen dia.
About to head to the store. We're going to connect Nancy and Tony behind us to go pick up some grand large tubes for putting in this trench that we're creating. I actually made a mistake the other day and picked up a black tube that Nelson explained to me. This tubing here is not as strong. It's used for agriculture purposes and usually laid above ground, not buried, the same way this large 2-inch tube is in the ground here connected to the house. The indication by the two blue lines means that it's much sturdier and can take a higher pressure from the pump being used, especially with all the force of the water coming down from our tanks above. We need something that's going to be strong in the ground and last the test of time.
So that means the kinks don't even matter anymore. Remember the kinky kinks from that other episode?
Yeah, from the other episode. That wasn't the best. And as part of our sprinkler system that runs to the back of the house, to our back container, we're gonna actually add a whole nother line that goes by our camper, by our container over here, and to our trees and our fruit forest we got going on. All right, let's go pick up those supplies and let's grab a coffee while we're at it.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Oops, I forgot to connect the trailer. But you can hop in.
Town is less than a 20-minute drive from us. Just for those of you who feel like we live out in the middle of nowhere, we feel like we have the best of both worlds. We have like our own little bubble of peace and seclusion over here, but there is never a village or a beach too far away. Or coffee. And look at all of these different tubing options, different thicknesses, different colors. This is the one we might be looking for.
I don't know if he has enough of the 50 millimeter, the 2-inch tube that we need.
Oh, it's not this one.
No, that's just 32.
It's this one.
Yeah, it's a big guy. We need 250 meters.
This is for the electricity so we can have an automated sprinkler system.
That way we can see how full our tanks get and cut the water off.
Well, we got one thing that we came for.
That often happens at the stores around here. You have a whole shopping list and you can pick up like part of it at one store, then you gotta go to another store and another store.
Or
so
wait.
You gotta like really keep balances of what you've purchased and if you gotta go back and get it a different day because they ordered it as well.
Well, we're very happy and relieved to say that we found the tubes that we needed, so we don't have to wait 2 weeks. Nelson can do the job that he needs to get done for us tomorrow. Ah, that feels good. What a relief. I think it's part of the challenge of living here that makes it such an adventure for us, you know? If we're not doing van life, at least we're doing something like this that is constantly challenging us, making us use all of the different tubes in our brains, not only in trying to find things and think of what hours the stores are open and how to say it in another language. Well, yeah, trying to say it in another language is just a whole nother level. Anywho, we're very happy to have what we need. Faz favor, abatonado.
Meia de leite, faz favor. That's what you want right there. A happy driver, happy digger man. The hope is we get the tubes in tomorrow and that way we can close it all back up. But it says coming along pretty good back here.
This is a giant eucalyptus trunk/root system that we showed you at the very beginning of this episode. And now Nelson is helping drag it all the way down to our bonfire area so we can get rid of it in the future. Now to finish the canal, the last section.
Nelson's finishing up the last little bit here of completing the entire canal. And he's got to loop it across this really hard rock. So he went to get his beak, his pick, so he can cut through it. And he's going to loop it right here where we can attach all the tubes and the electrical tube to our well.
Wow. And here is the top of the trench. Look at that. That is massive. Incredible. I love you too. I love you too. Yes. Yes, I do. Alright, we gotta help Drew. We gotta help Drew cut this tube.
Let me give you a little understanding of what's happening right now. This is our water ditch that goes to drainage of the whole driveway and goes down this canal, but we don't want it to get caught over time and get materials, debris, or rip up the tubes that are crossing underneath this direction. So it's like a four-way intersection. So we got to make a little protection on top of the tubes we're putting in right here. So we're going to cut that in half, put them side by side so that each tube can be protected, and then we'll fill it in tomorrow with all the dirt.
Nicely done.
All right, we got our guards.
Perfect size trench.
All right, it's a new day. We're having to hunker down because it's a very windy one at that. I've just opened up the valves in the pump here so we can get all the water out of the line that's going to the top. That way we can move it easier, get it in the canal with the second pipe that we're gonna have. So I've got the water flowing out of here right now, and Nelson's helping me pick all the rocks up that are in it, so that way we got a nice base to set the tubes. Hercules! Nelson, Tim este também é necessário.
Sim, mas em princípio
Pouco.
se fazer falta, boa ideia.
Go! Didn't go as far as we hoped. Yeah! No es perfecto.
E tiramos as maiores.
We got a lot of loop-de-loops to unfold up here because we need more distance at the bottom to reach the pump. We're a little bit short right now, short by like 30 feet. Well, we just wrestled with this thing for about 20 more minutes and we got all but one kink out, and this is a nasty one. Really tough moving these hoses around and trying not to get them in weird twists. Like, it's just, they're so big and bulky, but we got a really bad cut right here. So we're gonna have to cut this and put valve or something or connector piece in there. Quite frustrating at the moment. Nelson and I didn't like that happened. All right, I just hustled and ran down to the bottom here to make sure Nelson had enough distance in the tube. And sure enough, we have plenty. Aqui?
Penso eu, sim.
Or aqui. Aqui é bom. Pouco mais.
Aí está.
Primeiro.
Esta parte para aqui.
Remove yeah, see.
I think so.
I think good, yeah.
Apertado. Duro, no flexível.
Apertado?
Apertado.
Apertado.
Connect.
Connect.
Apertado, fini. Ok? Apertado.
Nelson's been teaching me new words. Nuevo palabras importante. Meu professor de português. So now that this has been reattached and connected with the stronger pressure tubing, we're gonna give it a shot and open things up. So we're gonna make sure everything else is closed, 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 open, open. And now the line's filling. No leaks so far, I know. Looking good. Perfecto. So right here is our problem area. There, now the water's flowing. We weren't getting any water up top after turning the pump on. So this is our big problem pinch area in the plastic tubing.
Here, Drew's cutting out the section where the kink was, applying Vaseline to both of the fresh ends, making a better seal for the coupler that they connected. And now our tube had no kinks to worry about. So I just checked in with Drew and Nelson just went to lunch, and Drew over here is about to
Get my grind on. We gotta cut a part in the bottom of the cement box here to be able to set it down in the canal so the tubes can pass under it.
And how we are going to do that is with our mighty Bluetti AC180 portable power generator. And while it's extremely handy for outdoor projects like this, it is also extremely handy providing us with extra power outlets in our camper van. And so to turn on our water heater, we power up the unit, we turn on the DC power, and then if we want mood lighting, that's connected to the AC power plug right here. And there it is. Isn't that fun? And check that out. It's barely putting out any energy whatsoever. And the 180 is really handy to be able to pick up. It has handles on the top.
Super easy, guys.
Yeah.
Has dual ports here, several USB connections, a 12 volt, and you can even set your cell phone on top to charge wirelessly.
It's true.
Ready for this?
We made a little house.
We just made a little mouse house. Don't tell our kitties where I put this.
No. Alright, time to bust out mouse house door number 2. Nice.
See ya! Anybody home?
Thumbs up for that. That was nice and easy. So besides being an excellent sidekick for getting projects done around here, the other thing that we love about our Bluetti power systems is the fact that they use LiFePO4 batteries, which I believe stand for lithium iron phosphate batteries. And what is so magical about that is that they are more environmentally friendly since they don't use cobalt. Also, they don't have like explosive properties. They're much more temperature stable. So if you're looking for a safe, reliable, powerful option, we got a link for you to click below to see their plethora of portable power devices. All right, what's next, mister?
There we go.
Perfect.
I still got to run a red wire through here.
Looks like you've just the right amount of space left to do that.
Yep. One more red tube and we'll be finalized. Now that we've got both the water lines ran from top to bottom, connected and tested, it's time to put in the electrical tube that will be able to pass what will be a cable that will have a sensor for the level, that's Portuguese, the level of the tanks up top, or for putting in sprinkler systems and automate it and make it how we want it in the future. I'm going to string these out in a way where I'll be able to still access the connection at the end of the tube. That way we can pull the wire through it in the future. I'm hoping the bends aren't too significant down at the bottom that makes it really difficult to do that, but We will see. Just getting the infrastructure in place is a huge part of the puzzle, while Nelson's here working on other things with his excavator. We just went through and put some zip ties on all the tubes so that they're held together, packed it with some dirt and spots to hold it to the ground. And now we're gonna do our best to separate out the big rocks, just dump powder and like loose dirt to cover it so nothing sharp will penetrate it in the future when it has a lot of weight on it or has movement from the land over time. You can see we put in our protection right here, like we talked about, so the water can cross flow over top of this. It's a good move. You can see right here one of the boxes we put in. This is where we broke the pipe the other day and had to put in a connector piece, but you can see that the access right there, and then Nelson dug the spot right here that's higher up that'll allow us gravity feed. Muito bom. By having access right here rather than having to dig it later, we can cut right into here and put some valves. We're always going to use the blue line going up, and this one will have the water coming down. And as you can see right here, we're at the top of the terraces here, so gravity will feed out that way, feed this way, or straight down the valley to the Grand Terrace, anywhere we want to have water in the future. All right, this box is in place. We put a stem on here. It'll be much easier to access because we're gonna fill this up with dirt. And with a little forethought, we were able to make that much easier for the future. We had to stop and take the time for that, but I will not regret that decision one day when it comes to putting a sprinkler or some type of water line right there. We're going to connect the one line that allows the water to flow from the top to bottom, and then we're going to go test it out down low.
We've been dreaming of this sort of functionality on our property. So to think that we've cleared the eucalyptus, made the terraces up here behind the water mill, installed these two massive water tanks, connected an irrigation system, added our well being drilled, the pump being installed, and yeah, all of these tubes being connected. Everything takes time, one step at a time, and then before you know it, a whole system is in place.
It'd be really interesting to show you guys my chart. I've been measuring this throughout the year at how much is evaporated or come out of the tanks. We haven't actually used the water, but I'm gonna measure down and see how much water is actually in them, or at least the measurement from the top down and how much we've lost. I know that tank we've lost like half the tank throughout the year.
Whoa.
So We filled them back in June, so now it's December. A lot of time has passed. "45 centimeters from the top on this tank.
And the water, yeah, has been lost solely by evaporation or by like a little drippy leak, right?
Yeah, there was a little leak on this one. That one had nothing, so it's only perspiring through the top ring because it's not perfectly sealed. 107 to 45 and 107.
Wow, it's a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
So let's connect the water line and see if our whole system works as planned.
So this is the power coming out of our tanks right now. So we want to see that come out all the way at the bottom. So we're going to connect this tube so that it has a passageway that's now buried all the way down. So we're going to put that on there, this on here, like that. So all of you guys informed me in the comments that we have to put on the tape, the plumbing tape, when it's plastic and plastic, going clockwise. That way it makes the best bond and seals any potential gaps. Wouldn't know that without you guys explaining that. So in the future, we'll actually cut down this big black hose, but we're just testing it for the sake of everything we've created today. Oh no.
Oh.
Shoot.
Nelson behind the scenes.
Hiding behind me. Oh. Nelson.
No comment.
Oh no, and you put it on so good.
Obrigado.
There we go.
Estava vendo. Estava vendo que faltava.
You were just silencio. All right, I think that's right. And
Go for it. Just making sure we don't turn the one that has been secured to the tank.
moment of truth.
Iron.
So when we go to the bottom now?
Yeah, when we go to the bottom, it should start spraying out.
Run!
Gravity fed grunge moment. Should come with like 4 bars of pressure, which is like, I don't know, 50 psi.
A little bit of air, he says.
Orera Oceano.
He sounds like the ocean. Should put it right up to your ear.
Yeah, right into my face.
Oh,
Whoa!
there she blows. With the bow. See? Nice.
Muito pressão. Sim.
Close it, or else you're gonna have to refill his tanks. Wow.
Whoa!
Drew's always wanted to be a firefighter, but he never wanted to worry his mom. So now he can live out his firefighting dreams on our property. Nonsense. Just when you thought our irrigation project was done, we had Nelson start digging yet another trench leading from our well down towards our planting terraces.
We're always up to something out here. Now we are connecting the sprinkler line that will go from the well pump over to our camper, over to the terraces where we've planted several of our items in the garden, some of our fruit trees as well. Whew, that's really loud. Nelson's doing a little bucket change behind me, so sorry for the loud noises. He is gonna scoop out some of the sand in our trailer that we're gonna line around this sprinkler tube, because this being down here and having cars pass over it, it's really important that we pad that tube properly. Whereas the one up top doesn't quite have that same issue because it'll only be us walking over on top of it. He's gonna place some of the sand in piles here so that we can put it in once the tube is set in place already. Look at that golden sand. I was also just mentioning to Nelson as he's digging this canal to be really careful. Down here are those large cement tubes we put in for the drainage system, as well as right in the back tire of the truck where that's at, is that we have the electrical cables that go from the top of our land all the way down to the house, and we don't want to strike either of those and cause more problems in bigger projects than the project at hand. Yesterday afternoon, I spent time running a electrical tube along with a water line through the trench Nelson made, ending with a point where in the future we can make sprinklers or some type of irrigation for the garden on what is Terrace 3, along with a T connection to be able to have water for fire protection that will cover our container, our camper, and our deck, our whole shade structure, and give it a golden bubble dome of protection in case we ever have to battle a fire, which, fingers crossed, that's something we don't have to encounter. Imagine when we just separated out on a couple lines or a sprinkler head in the middle of our shade structure. It's a lot of volume of water. Like I said before, we're ahead of the game getting our water system in place now rather than waiting to just before summer. Let's get shoveling. Little added effort without being able to bring the wheelbarrow all the way down here. Having to hand do it. One shovel load, one scoop at a time. All right, unexpectedly, a rainstorm is coming in right now. You can see how dark the clouds are behind me, and I'm starting to get soaked. But I'm quite happy with how this turned out and got a lot of sand in there. I could have used a little bit more in sections, but nothing we can't sort out and pull out the rocks by hand by using some of the nice soil around here. All right, time to take cover for a bit. hear Nelson up there. He just started the excavator this morning. It actually ended up raining a lot more last night, and I want to check out the canal that we filled with sand. Ooh, oh my. You can see the water really started gushing through there, and it erased all my work in this area. I'm definitely gonna have to shovel some of that back over to there. That's all right. I get this taken care of, close back up so we can drive back down to the bottom of our driveway.
It sure does feel amazing to have the last project for the year complete. The trenches have been filled, although there is one more thing we have to do, not only for us, but also for you guys. And we got to get up on the roof to do that. So come on, let's go.
What do you think of our trench full?
Wow. Wow. Look at her up there. She's even more beautiful up close. But as many of you have noticed, her arrow is turned the wrong direction. It's supposed to face the same way as she is. So what do you say? Let's do one of these. And voila! Now we can all head into the new year in the right direction. And why not add some festive cheer on top of that?
It's the best.
I love it.
It also says we.
Oh, right. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And being that we have such a globally diverse and vibrant community, we want to wish everybody a happy everything, a merry always, and know that we are so excited to share with you like all that 2025 has in store, because
So much to come.
I'm pretty sure this is the year that we are moving into the watermill.
Can't wait to get finished on the interior.
There's a lot to happen, like kitchen, bathrooms, everything.
Beds, furniture.
All of it. Be well, friends.
Happy New Year.
Can't
See
wait
you
to
guys
see you.
next episode in January.
2025.
You might want that hat for later.
Santa needs that hat. We all know it'll blow off in about 2 minutes if we leave it up here. Ah. There you go, little mermaid. Let your hair flow. Santa's elves need this.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, this will help. There we go.
Are you one of Santa's elves?
Yeah, you know it.